We're live. Who all is in here? We've got Lars in here, the one-eyed cat Don, sporting his new logo. Mostly old parts and Russ Patrick. Auto Salvage Outlaw says it's finally Friday. All the days of the week are pretty much the same for me. I just have to remember when things like the hardware store close early. NSB Custom Cars, how's it going, guys? Technician Troy says, what's happened, y'all? Well, about to find out. Jason's Garage, like the thumbnail. Yeah, the thumbnail, if you guys saw it, is courtesy of, the picture's Dust Devil Brian. That's his transmission. I made the meme, but I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to see the autopsy on that. I wouldn't mind doing the autopsy on that. Y'all want to see what one looks like subjected to that much heat? I'd be game for it. Hello, Sherry Marie. Hello, Blue Collar Nate. Fox can fix it. One-Eyed Cat says 82 days and 4 hours. Actually, it's 82 days, 3 hours, 58 minutes and change. Bad Attitude C. Tim Blake. How's it going? Glad you're here. Blue Collar Performance says he's stoked and he's tempted to turn it up and hammer on that Pinto, but then he thinks he wants to wait to the No Name Nationals. Well, if there's anybody who can break it and fix it with 82 days and change, it would be you. So, Wendy English is here. Well, hello, Sherry. I'm glad you're here. Mater's Workshop, how's it going? My mom's here. Dean Stevenson, Colleen Tebow. Punisher Le Mans Garage, Pure Pontiac Garage. See, they came as a pair. Rapid Transit J, how's it going? 83 says behind you, that's correct. That means it's 82 and change. That's correct. 86 till Florida. That would be correct. Cope and I are planning to plunder the Gulf Coast for a few days after No Name Nationals. Cope, did you see the thumbnail? That's the core I'm bringing right there. Sand Mountain Ballistics. By the way, Sand Mountain Ballistics, out of nowhere, got 100 subs overnight to take the checkered flag of the No Name 500. He is the 15th channel, I believe, off the top of my head, 15th or 16th across the line this year. And congratulations, Hunter. We'd love to have you on live. You've done it odd and stealthily, and it's all good. But congratulations, man. You're in. You punched your ticket. And what was it that hit? I think I asked the code, and he said it was like an older gun video. It just took off. All from Dakota. No, Dakota can't take credit for that. Dean Stevenson getting fancy with his intellectual property. Unfinished Project says 12 Saturdays, No Name Nationals. I'll take your word for it. That Fiero guy hit 200. That Fiero guy needs to put a tow hitch on the back of his Fiero and hook up Mr. Polo's C4. Come on, guys. Make it happen. I know you can make it happen. I'm totally willing to help. It'll be very fun having you guys there. There's Dakota. How's it going, man? Stephen Boats just floated. I got to tell you, if Stephen Holtz had the same taste in boats that he has in cars, I would be terrified to ever get on the water in one. I think he's different when it comes to boats. There's Stephen. Coconut Rough. I tell you what, though, you know, in my opinion, you're better off if you like stuff like that and enjoy it than the guy who has a pile of money and still can't afford the unobtainium car he wants, because all that guy thinks about is what he doesn't have. People like Stephen with a good attitude, they see what they do have and they're having more fun with it. To me, that's the way to be. Thumpers in the house. Dakota just found my channel yesterday. Well, it's a good channel. Dakota, you know, the live where I had Thumper talking about ethanol fuel was very interesting. So that's one video that's not on Thumper's channel, but man, it is a good one because of Thumper. So look for it on my channel. It was a good one. 80 days for Auto Salvage Outlaw. Technician Troy's 346. Right. It's starting to see a lot of movement. Guys are hammering on it. Buy a crappy boat, name it Crush Depth. I got to tell you, I see so many applications for carbon fiber that scare me. Like when I see pressure bottles made out of carbon fiber, I'm like, well, okay, I know they're rated for it, but I've always thought that as long as I've seen that. So I get it. It's theoretically it works, and it does most of the time. No, Thumper, I did not see you got your first start. I'm going to watch that. Unfinished project has a terrible connection in Methville, working on a farm all. Okay. Guess I better get moving on the Punisher car. Yeah, well, Punisher Le Mans is going to show up. He always does. One Eyed Cat's doing floors tomorrow. Excellent. Looking forward to that. I'm going to be doing something soon that it's going to be a barrel of fun. It's fun because I don't know how to do it. I'm going to put a quarter panel on a Honda Civic. And I've never cut and welded a quarter panel on before. So I'm excited to do it because I cannot wait to have, you know, the legions of troll army in the comments tell me how I don't know how to do it. So that'll be a lot of fun. Bad Treat Blake is in the house. How's it going, my man? The stickers went on Norm. Okay, Norm will be the faster of the 62 Valiants. I hear JB Weld will fix that corner. If we might use JB Weld somewhere in the project, but it is not going to be his body filler. I'm no body guy, but at least I know I'm no body guy. Yeah, exactly. Thumper didn't know how to do it and managed it. Yeah, it's going to be great. I've got some ideas of how to do it. And one I actually got off of YouTube I thought was really cool. Somebody had a great idea. Rather than try to flange where you're going to make the seam up on the high part of the C-pillar to make it small and less noticeable, I think when you buy like a replacement quarter panel from Honda, apparently they recommend to like the body shops at the dealerships to cut like a 2-inch strip out of that C-pillar and use it as a backer where you make the seam. And that really makes a ton of sense because it's so thin and it's got kind of a compound curve. I don't know how you'd flange it and keep it right. But that way you wouldn't have to. That would be much easier. Then you could drill holes, you know, on both sides of it, use that for a backer, weld it, minimal amount of grinding and filling, and it should be really nice. That's the plan. So this thing will have one little seam up on the C-pillar. It'll have one little seam down on the rocker. That's the plan. But you know how plans go. I told him what to cut at the yard, where to cut the quarter off, because this is a used quarter, factory quarter off of the junkyard Civic, since you can still get nice factory quarters in the junkyard. And then we'll drill out the spot welds and measure, cut, and trim up the donor piece, and on it goes. We'll see how it works. I predicted at the end of it, we're going to have a quarter on there that looks really good from 10 feet away or closer and works totally fine, and it will amaze the people that think you can't do it that way. How's that? 6% recycled here. JB's little shop. Big Mike of the Hoopty Barn. How's it going? really liking Dawn's new logo there. The pirate cat. I think that's cool. Keep seeing it in here. I've gotten used to Dawn with that other little avatar. So what do you got going on for the 4th of July weekend? It's kind of weird where 4th of July falls on a Tuesday. It makes everything bizarre. I think it does anyway, because it doesn't really coincide with a weekend. It's in the middle of the week. So, like for instance, we were actually looking for some racing going on this upcoming weekend, and it seems like everybody that's doing a 4th of July race is doing it on the weekend after, and there's nothing going on the 4th at any track anywhere, it seems like. 4-day weekend, Troy says. Yeah, it's bizarre. I've worked ever since college. I've worked commission only. I've never had a salary type job where you have a structured off time and stuff. I'm sure I will be working sporadically through all of it. Bad Tree says they're going to watch things blow up in the sky, hopefully from the river. That sounds great. We celebrate my dog's birthday on July 4th. He's a rescue, so we don't know exactly when his birthday is, but that's when we celebrate it. And he and I go watch the fireworks. He's good with the fireworks. He's not good with the motorcycles that come to watch the fireworks. Smoke Wrench Garage. And Smoke Wrench, you're like 29 subscribers away. I'll get you on live soon, man. Busted Radio Garage, how's it going? BRG is in the house, indeed. Glad you're here. Unfinished Project says I have no structured off time. Yeah, right. I get it. Unfinished Project is a hardworking guy. Big Mike just says, I told Mr. Wilbon what we're doing. I'll let everyone else know after the fact. Great, Mike. Now somebody will want to torture it out of me. They're not getting anything. So if they find out about it, it's because you or someone else told them, not me. And Mike's working on cool stuff because that's what Mike does. He's a cool guy. Copperhead Customs in here. The comments jump more on StreamYard because they feed over from YouTube. So sometimes I see the response to somebody coming in and I don't actually catch them coming in. Twisted Mopar Dennis, are you hitting the track here soon? I bet you can make another big jump in subs and move up a few more spots. Danny Boyd says he's had nothing but off time pretty much all year. That makes one of us. I picked up some steel to fix some floor joists this afternoon. I've got a place where there's a pipe running through. There's no clearance. I can't put a board on there. So really the only way to fix this is either I can do that thing where I raise up the bathroom floor to get the pipe up high, which I don't like, or I can have the floor nice and proper, but I'm putting 1/8-inch plate on both sides, notching it out, and then I'm going to weld a strut across, which will bring back all of the strength, but and close it up and never know it's there. Yeah, no race this weekend. Well, there'll be plenty of racing. My weekend is next weekend. 4-wheel jamboree tickets. Oh man, that sounds really cool, Don. I've read about that for years, never been to it. I tell you what, Busted Radio, Unfinished Project, he is like the contest winning man. He is the contest winning man. He is the guy. That said, I see you giving away a lift. So we'll see what happens. Did you guys see the storm hit the Pontiac Nationals? No, I've seen sporadic storm reports. I know Two Hacks, Jeff sent me some pictures. Bloomsburg is 45 minutes down the road. Cool, man. Thumper says, got a fun fact for you. Early Sunday morning before anyone goes down the highway is the best time for burnouts. Well, there you go. We should have one of those the more you know things like they used to do on TV on the commercials. Dust Devil Garage, how you doing? Dizzy says, evening people, happy 4th. Oh, well, happy 4th to you, Dizzy. Happy birthday, America. I do love my country. I believe it's the 247th. Someone is going to get it for sure. Hey, I'm down with it. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want to expand my garage. I've got to do it, and I got some options. I actually literally bought a boundary line adjustment off each neighbor, and I can expand on either end, the east or the west side, well, or both. But I want to have some height for a lift. I used to say, lifts are nice, but they're unnecessary, and each year I like the idea of a lift better. Chris 103 Customs, how's it going? Calling T-Bo's here. Gateway's getting hit with a storm, yeah. We haven't had, our weather's been really good here, all things considered. Been a little dry the last week, but then we finally got some rain. They're actually calling chance of rain here all week long, so looks like we'll have some rain. Need it. When you don't get rain, the grass gets weird. It gets brown, and you got all these little weird, random rogue pieces growing up in it. It just doesn't look right. Dawn did the lift plan with the concrete pad exactly. See, that would be actually, I think, pretty cool. Is if I don't have it in the budget to do the garage expansion I want at first, at least get my concrete there, because that's a big deal. I just having good flat concrete to work off of is good. Yeah, you guys that having the weather. I know old 2X Jeff sent me some pictures of the smoke in the sky, and it's the rain is going to help with that. All smoke here, Chris says. Okay. Yes, Punisher 402. Not Punisher. Big Block 402, Punisher Lamons is telling me, had some nasty weather. He did indeed. He had some roof damage and such, but I asked him if he needed anything and said, man, don't be afraid to reach out. We're here to help you. But he seems like he's got things under control. But if Steven needs our help, he knows he can holler. But looks like everybody's safe and healthy, and it could be much worse. I know Leighton Welding. Leighton suffered more damage. He suffered more damage to his shop. But it looks like all things considered, at least everybody was safe, and it could have been so much worse, but I'm glad that they got things under control. If they need us, I know they can holler. Unfinished projects that call me crazy. My new lift will be outside. I got to tell you, I thought very seriously. I got a concrete pad outside. I thought very seriously about putting a lift on that because I like working outside better. See, if I do that, it's going to interfere with covering it one day. So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'll figure it out. Dust Devil's been in the house, didn't even know it was raining. I've been out of the house all day. Yeah, Busted Radio. You watch Unfinished Project. It's going to be. It's almost like you're not competing with the odds or anything else. You're competing with Unfinished Project. Thumper ordered an aluminum seat. Hope it fits. A TIG welder may be your friend, man. Punisher Lamont says it's over 100 degrees. I've heard. I think it was about 90 here. Not, it's not bad. It's hot enough. Yeah, Blake, that's what I hear. Up in Canadaville, where a lot of you guys live, is just smoky. Unfinished project said there's a shop in town has an outside lift. Yeah, there are a few. There's some places that have the outside lifts. And yeah, why not? But I look at the lifts like that have the chain, like the drive-on lifts. I would have a hard time wanting to leave that chain outside. I'm not sure what Busted Radial's doing. I don't know if it's a post or what, but like a two post, or I'm not sure. Busted Radial, you're free to tell us and plug it. Yeah, I like working outside. I like working outside if the conditions are reasonable. I would always prefer working outside. I absolutely hate the cold, and there are some things you cannot do in the rain. But man, I prefer working outside anytime I can. Outside lifts are a southern thing. Outside lifts are a wherever weather will allow thing. If you have snow 6 months out of the year, then yeah, I get it. I wouldn't have a lift out either. If you're somewhere out west where it's dry, yeah, why not? Four post wildfire, 9,000 pounds. Okay, there you go. So that's what Busted Radial Garage is giving away. Check it out. Technician Troy's Banks is commenting on what he's doing. Okay, very good. Missouri was contributing. It's legal here now. Yeah, I was never into that. Same as what I bought Buster. Yes, you can see his. Yeah, I remember you seeing a community post. You had two of those. The idea was one for a giveaway. One-Eyed Cat said that would fit perfect on my concrete pad. There you go. NSB says outside lift is fine. Put a 5-gallon bucket over the power unit. I knew somehow Lee would have insight on that. The W350 will fit just fine. Unfinished project is saying, right? Yeah, you got a lot of traction over this. I figure. If air conditioning is going to be a necessity, I'll put it inside. How is air conditioning a necessity? I mean, 10,000 years of recorded human history, we've had air conditioning for how much of it? I don't have it. I don't have air conditioning in the house, cars, nothing. I had air conditioning in my office, the last retail office I had, which for what I do, there's not much point these days in having a retail office. My last retail office, it would never worked, and the landlord just never fixed it. He never cared, so didn't have any AC there either. I could take or leave it. Yeah, man, Busted Radio, that's cool. Stop in, yank some change, that's good. But yeah, you're certainly welcome to plug your giveaway. That's cool. I like it when people in the community do stuff like that. John Cope gave away a valve body, I believe it was last year sometime. And that was really cool. That's a nice high-end valve body. And I thought he was doing that, and it was just for YouTubers to win. So you had to put that on your entry, and your odds were good, and it was basically just giving back to this community. And so I think it's wonderful. And Busted Radial's doing something similar. He's giving back something to this community, and I think it's great. So anytime you guys are doing something like that, I'm just think that's great. Colleen, air conditioning's made it's made life easier. Some people it can be really hard on not having it with heat and humidity and whatnot. Sherry Marie's tapping out. She's got work early. Cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you being here. Thumper says if it wasn't illegal, he would send out a pint of fuel grade vodka to some unlucky winner. That's neat. Busted Radial says someone needs to dethrone unfinished project. Ooh. It's going to be hard to beat him as the giveaway king. Like when I have giveaways and stuff, I mean, he is fast. It almost takes interference to beat him. Blake says that the world headquarters has basement air with the squirrel cage fan. Yeah. A lot of things that work. Basement air is humid. Yeah, well, can be. Around here, basement air can be really high radon too. Nobody has that much time to watch 10,000 channels. I'm telling you what, it amazes me what some people have time for, what some people don't have time for. Yeah, the unfinished project is amazing. We call him a ninja because he is. He's just so quick and stealthy, and you can't pick him out of a lineup. Nobody's ever seen him. He's an interesting character. Paint namer sitting in front of a fan. That's all I need. Yeah, garage fan. I don't have a garage fan out there right now. I am doing some work out there. We drove the old van for years without AC. Here's the deal. I had the bearing go bad on the clutch and pulley on the AC compressor on the CRV many years ago. Just went bad, and it didn't even make any noise first. With no noise warning, I'm sitting at a traffic light and I see smoke coming from under the hood. I said, well, this isn't good. And literally, as I pull off, as in an intersection, I pull off, and I heard a noise as I was stopping to pull off. What had happened was that bearing locked up on the air conditioning compressor. It burnt the serpentine belt in two, and that was the smoke I was seeing, and it broke probably within 10 feet of where I was. I had to reach under the car to see the end of the belt down. I pulled out from under the car. So that was how close it broke to where I stopped. Never got hot or anything. So did a little trial and error, did some measuring. I figured out a belt that would fit it, and I rerouted it, and it worked just fine. Gosh, that's the same. I've not changed that belt. I bet that belt has way over 100,000 miles on it. I bet that belt has 150, maybe even close to 200,000 miles on it. Same belt, looks fine. And it's one rib narrower, but it also isn't dragging that compressor. Never slipped, never been a problem. Imagine driving an automobile with an unworking AC and a heat wave above 95, no fan blower. My entire life, man. My entire life. Chris 103 Customs got an 18-volt fake Makita fan. Okay. The tool battery fan. Yeah, my friend of mine that's into that. He does a repair center for Makita, a warranty repair center. So he gets all the gadgets and stuff they come out with, like the lights and all that kind of stuff. He's always got that kind of thing. Danny Boyd says, I've never had a car with working AC till I was over 40. Yeah, it's everybody's different. Everybody's different. I can understand how it would be easier for people with breathing problems and whatnot and stuff like that. But I've just never had it. And it's never, in fact, you guys might even be able to pick up on the mic a little bit in the background. Got an attic fan running. I could imagine getting used to that. Bondo Billy says, hey, he hadn't had an air conditioner in his car in at least 5 years. I'm with you, man. I've had probably in my entire life working air conditioning in cars for fewer than about 10 years combined. And even then, I pretty much didn't use it. It's just not my thing. Like today, it was 90 plus here, window down. It's all good. I'm more into air conditioning just to keep my dog cool. We don't have moving air than I am for myself. Exactly, 155 AC. Yeah, that's it. Attic fans help a lot. Man, they do. That attic fan is something else. It'll cool a house down really. Tell you what, air conditioning, the way it works and the way it can dehumidify and all, that's great, but there is nothing that'll cool a house down faster than an attic fan. Nothing. Because of the greenhouse A-pillar angle and canted side glass, that AC is required. Well, we've got to finish this. I didn't call Thumper Bondo Billy. They're both in here. Now, what was that esoteric comment that Dean Stevenson was leaving? It's because of the greenhouse A-pillar angle and the canted side glass that AC is required, and polyvinyl chloride, aka PVC. I don't need AC in a Valiant. You do in a Fox Body 83 T-Bird. Well, I've ridden in both of those, and neither had AC. Thumper said 2 cases MREs for $250. Yeah, he lived on them too long. Appreciate you, Thumper. Land of the free because of the brave. We think about that on days like July 4th. Yeah, Rabbit Transit J says, not going to lie, I like AC. Of course, I like winter. So, exactly, you live on the North Pole. World of Woodchip says, why does the A-pillar need to be raked so far back it's over my head? Because the people that design those cars design them on a computer and don't drive them. Nothing worse than hitting your head on an A-pillar. Dakota said, how many comes in a case? The answer is 3, because I have no idea what you're talking about. Dean Stevenson says, because I'm a whole lot cooler and chill than others young. I'm not cool at all. I laugh about this with our buddy Bad Tree Blake about how unhip I am. I told Blake he should have a game show sometime where he has like me and J-Bo and I don't know, like Ed's Machine, like the old people that don't do any of the hip modern stuff, and see if we can guess some of the terms. I think that'd be funny. Blue collar, I got a good story about that from when I was at Virginia Tech. I have seen who they recruit, and I know why cars today suck. GM would recruit in the 90s. GM would recruit people if they had a pulse and a degree. You didn't have to care about cars. You didn't have to know anything about them. A pulse, mechanical engineering degree. and a willingness to live up there. Now you probably don't even have to have that. Who knows? Maybe automotive engineering, they just go on Angie's list and look for people to work remotely. I have no idea. I have opted out of all the modern car stuff. Thumper, I think that comment about bowel movements there, she's taking minutes off of my life. So for those of you just listening and not watching, see what you miss? 29 years as a mechanic has made blue collar performance hate them. Yeah. So I have a friend who works in Lynchburg, Virginia, and lives in Bedford County. So to him, it's the worst of both worlds. You drive an hour into the sun in the morning, and you drive an hour into the sun on your way home from work every day. It's like, how miserable is that? If you did it the other way around, if you lived in Lynchburg and you worked in the Bedford County into Roanoke, right over there, I mean, you'd have exactly the opposite. You have the sun to your back both ways. Jason's Garage says most car engineers need to be drawn and quartered. Henry Ford was never big on engineers. He always was much more into common sense things, but I think he went too far with it. And he would do things that didn't make any sense at all. I am a big fan, as a lot of people are, of what Chrysler was doing between World War II and the crazy 80s. So I think if you look in that time period right there, from after the war up until we started getting into even the 70s, the malaise era is okay. But that time period there, I think Chrysler has really had it right. Bondo Billy says, I drink my bottle of water, hot water, while I'm driving around in my no AC car at 100. Awesome. But you also wear like the little gaiter while you're doing your stuff too. You dress for the heat. Don't worry, Cope. I told you that. I told you I haven't had it in years, but I'm gonna put it back in there just for you. I'm going to. All I gotta do is just replace that clutch. I just never have done it. Because I totally don't care. But I'll put it back for you. It's no problem. I'm not gonna fool with it till I do the next oil change. Then I'll be right there at it. Testa wants to know who's still sitting in smoke. We don't have anything like that here. It's clear here. We're in southwestern Virginia. Dakota is saying Pontiac. Hey, Dakota, would you like a timeout for old time's sake? You'll want to get back before the top of the hour. Be a good time. You can call the shot. Blake would turn the heated seat on J-Bo in the summer months. Yeah, that's one of those things I can see sneaking up on you. You get in a car and you think, oh man, this seat's been in the sun. You just think it's hot anyway. And as you drive, I'm like, man, I'm sticking to this seat. What's up? And then you realize someone's turned the seat up. I can see that. I bet that'd be good. And to hear J-Bo's commentary would be even better. Ram 50. How is the Ram 50 coming, Colleen? How is the Ram 50 doing? Scale modeling on the cheap. Bad Smoky in Connecticut. In Connecticut? I've never been to Connecticut. Scale modeling on the cheap. If you can think of one reason that would be good for me to go to Connecticut before I die, what would it be? What would you recommend would be a good reason to go see Connecticut for someone who's never been there and knows nothing? All I know is that David Letterman lived there and commuted into New York City. I don't know anything about Connecticut. The first car recall was Ford customers getting bit by bugs from the packing moss in the seats. I could see that. I actually literally could see that. Been cooking on the wood stove. Neat. Thumper stopped in Connecticut cold cutting an airplane. We flew through on a. Yeah, I've never been there. I've never really been anywhere up north. Well, I know Billy's asking unfinished project why he never knows what's up. I disagree. Unfinished project, that guy knows what's up. He's actually, I talked to him off of YouTube. He's a really smart guy. He sees things a lot of times before the rest of us do. He's pretty sharp. I'm not opining on whether he was funny or not, Danny Boy, but I know he commuted from Connecticut. I see the MMM comments, so I'm taking it that Damien is in here. Mopars, Mustangs, and minivans. Bad Tree likes Jay better. There you go. Any of you old people want to throw Carson in the mix? Where do you rank Johnny Carson? Bad Tree is saying 3M. I don't know what the question was, but 3M is often the answer. Twisted Mopar says my new motorhome starting to take shape. Great. Ron English in the house. How you doing, man? Glad you're here. See, Jason knows what I'm talking about. Johnny Carson was the man. Dude was legit. He was naturally funny. He didn't need any writers. Yeah, Thumper says better. They all suck now. Right now it's all just this weird political commentary stuff. I mean, I can't watch it. It's all just unwatchable. Nothing. It's of no interest to me whatsoever. Exactly, Danny Boyd. Craig Kilborn, I thought it was funnier. And I don't even think Craig Kilborn's all that funny, but it was better then because it wasn't some agenda show. It was just funny. We all just laughed together. Bondo Billy says sharp as a marble. That describes a lot of people. Yeah, see, Ronnie, you guys know what I'm talking about. Bad Tree says the talk shows were okay, but they went left hard. Exactly. And when they did, it's just gone. Gone. It's just history. We all used to be able to laugh together, and now it's all just everything is the verge of cancellation. Yeah, it's political propaganda. That's exactly right. But it's not funny. It's not my bag. Johnny would still be alive today if he drank D85 based alcohol. Well, maybe. You never know. He lived hard. He partied hard. Made a lot of money. Had a lot of fun. But he was a funny guy. Blue collars. I'm old enough to remember when Saturday Night Live was funny. That's been a while. It was hilarious before the woke stuff about a generation ago. Saturday Night Live was funny. There's one thing on Saturday Night Live that is funny, and I don't know if it's still doing it or not, but I think it's hysterical. It's Black Jeopardy. that's the only skit I can think of, Art, that's funny, but it's hysterical. Benny Hill, the British, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I love the. So I like to make videos sometimes that are just things that I think are funny that I don't really want to publish them on my channel because it'll bore most of the subscribers, but I think they're really funny. Like one of them was the Full Metal Jacket thing. I figured a bunch of you guys will get it, think it's funny. But another one I want to do is I would love to do have video of my dog running in and out of every room in the hallway like he does when he's looking for me, and speed it up and set it to the same music as the Benny Hill, the little montage where he would run around and pop in and out all these doors, have people chasing him and stuff. I think that would be so funny. I don't think I want to send that out to like 2,500 people, but I think it would be. I think it'd be. I would enjoy it. I would do it. It'd be cute. Exactly, One-Eyed Cat. You know what I'm talking about. Tom Hanks was good. I actually think the one I laughed the hardest was Chadwick Boseman talking about the potato salad. That I cannot watch that without laughing out loud. Toons is the driving cat. Yes, I remember that well. All right. Yakety Sax. That's correct. I knew Thumper would know the name. I knew the name of that, but I knew Thumper would. Thumper knows a lot of that abstract, obscure trivia like that, just because he truly is a very smart guy. But I have a friend who teaches saxophone, and I asked him what the name of that was, and he knew it because of that. If I was gonna, like, you know, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire has the lifelines, and you'd have several different lifelines. You can pick who you want to call. If I ever got a weird music question, my friend Bruce is who I'd call. He's that guy. He's that guy that knows that kind of stuff. They make a harness to attach a GoPro to your dog's back. Cool. Dust Devil actually might look into that. I gotta tell you, his day will probably be more interesting to you guys than mine for sure. Saturday TV Funhouse. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was good. Oh, yeah. The Tom Hanks Jeopardy with Will Ferrell. Oh, yes. Yes. That was really good. I liked both of their Jeopardy spoofs. The Celebrity Jeopardy, Will Ferrell, and the Darnell Hayes, Kenan Thompson. They're hysterical. I think, you know what? I prefer both of Saturday Night Live's Jeopardy spoofs to the actual Jeopardy show now. They're much better. Captain Deuce said his dad's Duster is a 70 base model 318 3-speed manual. That is cool. I have never driven an A-body that's manual on the column. My uncle has one. I should try to make that happen just for the sake of the bucket list. You know, it might be fun. Yeah, Thumper saw Ace and Gary on TV. But yes, if you know, you know, right? Yes, that trip like great. That was so great. Yeah, Alex Trebek and Sean Connery, they were playing. Both those guys are gone now. Mondo Billy says Doberman pinchers with laser beams attached to their heads. Most Dobermans I've met are pretty chill. They're pretty cool. I get along pretty good with most dogs. I give every dog an opportunity to be cool. Yeah, Stumper, an album cover, Let It Snow. Oh yeah, swords, therapist. Those were always great. Those are hilarious. Yeah, I was actually looking at doing something with a clip from Saturday Night Live from way back there. They had the what was that car? The Chameleon. It was like some kind of luxury car that was absolutely hideous on the outside, and it was really fancy on the inside. So it didn't look like anything anyone would want to steal. I thought that was actually pretty good. But when I got to looking at the clip, I'm like, yeah, they didn't really give me enough to work with. I wanted to integrate that into something in the video. I thought it'd be funny, but I still may. Never know. Yeah, Bad Tree. I think my favorite on the Celebrity Jeopardy on Saturday Night Live, I think they had, was it Jeff Goldblum? His answer was this, and his wager was the other half of his hand. Captain Deuce says his dad swapped an 833 overdrive. Yeah, you can do that. Sure can. 71 Dodge Demon front disc brakes. So on a 71 Demon, if you had disc brakes, you would have had the 4-piston Kelsey Hayes. And I have 2 sets of those. The only thing about those is you got the 4 pistons. The parts are expensive. They have the little transfer tube. And so if you really don't want rust on that, it's a lot more work to rebuild the calipers. They're heavier because they have that huge hub that adapted them to the 5-on-4 pattern. They are neat looking. I like them, but I don't think there's any advantage to them over I think it's probably a slight disadvantage over just converting to the 4.5-inch bolt pattern single piston calipers. That said, if you're hardcore on wanting both disc brakes and small bolt pattern, I think that's the way to go. Oh my goodness, Blown Budget Garage Randall's in the house. What's happening? What's your path on those tires, Randall? How are you gonna get out of that one? Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. So for what it's worth, Randall, I've been working with that wheel for 30 years. And I knew there was no chance they were going to clear. But when I first saw that, I thought the way out of it is Mopar Performance has a 4/5 of an inch, 0.80 offset shackle. And then if you need to trim the fender lip, of course, that's easy enough, angle grinder that. But then you can move the spring 4/5 of an inch. It's a bolt-in deal up top. And then you can do it one side at a time and keep your pinion angle the same. And it makes for an easy way to get, enough spring clearance to do exactly what you want to do. I still don't think you can run a 275, but it will definitely hook you up on a 255. Dogs usually know a person's character, right? Dakota says brakes are pretty cool. Brakes are pretty necessary. Brakes are cool. Brakes, the science behind them is neat, but I really want mine to work properly. They touch. You can go corner spacer. You could, but do remember when you go around a corner, you're still going to have sidewall flex. So daylight isn't really enough to stop them from rubbing. And one thing you can do to make it easier to see if they rub when you're out on the road, put a little paint right on your spring, like a little white paint, right where the tires would touch. And then, when you drive around the block, you can just look at a glance. You'll have a white stripe there that comes off the tire, but it'll tell you. So if you have clearance static and you don't know if they're rubbing much, it might tell you before it grinds a groove in them. Yeah, Dust Devil's just like take a chainsaw to it. Yeah, when I saw your video, I literally had in my mind, hi, Randall. The electric chainsaws are on aisle 13. Bondo Billy loves a 68 Cougar. That's a cool car. It's a good-looking car. Thumper's 65 GTO has a 00065 VIN. That's neat. Air shocks won't do that on an A-body, Nate. Air shocks won't actually get you much anything on an A-body because the way the quarter panel is close at the front of the tire, at 27 is where you hit at the front on an A-body, 27-inch tire. And on the inside, 255 will fit static. It won't fit when you're running. 275 will not fit. You can squeeze 245 under there, but that's all you're going to get on an A-body, and it's tight. When I say A-body, I mean the Dart, the Dart wheel well and the Scamp wheel well is what I'm talking about. The Valiant had a little bit different wheel well. It's a little better. But when you get the Duster Demon Dart Sport wheel well, oh man, you can go whole wild with that. I have 30 by 9s on the back of the Dart Sport right now, and a 30 by 10.5 will fit it. The front of the quarter panel is trimmed about that much, about a ½ inch. And if it weren't, for driving, if it was just static, I'm not even sure if the 30 would hit it just sitting there. In fact, I have a voucher, a $250 voucher for Mickey Thompson. So I'm probably going to put Mickey Thompson's back on it. They make a 29.5 that's actually like a literal 29.9. It might have cleared without any trimming. Yeah, Jay says I'm looking at 235s for my Dart. That's plenty on that wheel well. Stifle says a 68 Cougar because a 68 Mustang is a girl's car. Loan Budget says all I need is one pass. Well, there's a guy named Deke, and he does tech. And he sees those things rubbing, leaving witness marks in the spring. He might not go for that. Don't be that guy that's doing, crazy stuff to pass tech. Get her squared away up front. You'll be happier. Dakota says, I wish they made bigger tires. They used to make 325s and regular radials with 295 and 275. That's because Dakota's got that Firebird with that cavernous wheel well. Thumper said 67 Cougar is greater than a 68 Cougar. Yeah, the marker light is jarring. I saw a 68 Dodge today that had the little marker lights and had a 383 and he was doing electrolysis on it and he let his water just run out and the thing's flash rusting everywhere. I'm like, dude, you had to bore that block just from that botch. So, okay, Bad Tree says 29s hit under motion in the front of my Dart. But your Dart is trimmed a little bit, right? It's got the front of the quarter is trimmed on your. There's no way a 29 fits a Dart stock wheel well. I know yours had the springs moved. Oh, well, how did they do that on yours, Blake? Did they just move the springs? Did they push the axle back a little tiny bit or what? Because on an A-body, you can move the axle back a fuzz. Instead of having 111-inch wheelbase, you can have 111 half, 112. And that will help you a little because the back of the wheel well's got a little more room than the front. A-body rear ends are not centered. Exactly, Dennis. That's exactly right. Well, the wheel well is so irregular, it doesn't matter. Yeah, right. They're not centered. But the wheel well is not, it doesn't have a centered shape to it either. Yeah, see, Dennis is saying put a 3/4 to 1 inch block on the front spring. Right, and then that pushes that. That's exactly what I say. Randall's saying, what's your take on 2 degrees of caster for my setup? 2 degrees of caster is better than none. I would probably want a little more than that. If I can get more caster than that on a car for straight line, I like it. Positive caster. And I had so my teacher in trade school said he liked to do about a ½ degree more caster positive on the right than the left. He said it fights the road crown. I've never really liked that, but I like to get more caster if I can. I like to err to the heavy side of the spec on caster. Billy had the 67 Cougar Hot Wheels in 68. The blacktop, loved the 67 Cougar. Yeah, cool cars. The guy that I got my car dolly from, he had a 67 Cougar. I remember that. It's a good-looking car. The guy ran dirt track, so what he hauled on the dolly was he had an Escort dirt tracker, and that thing looked like it had been through 100 races. It was rough as a corn crop, and the dolly mashed. The dolly was bad, but the dolly still looks bad. But I went through and did new wheel bearings and all that stuff, and new wiring and taillights. So it's fine now, but it still looks like that. But his Cougar in the garage was beautiful. So, he goes out there on Friday night and does battle and covered in mud and all that, drags the car back in, washes it off, and then goes out for a nice evening in his civilized Cougar. If you move that back a half mini tub, you can fit a 3113. Oh, yeah, right. You can. You can. If you're willing to do that. Twisted Mopar, that's right. Randall need to get the old direct connection back. Yes, we do. Mexican Spec can hear me this time. Well, I'm inside, so I'm not on the street trying not to get hit by a rogue Mustang doing a burnout. That was wild last weekend. Yeah, Dean Stevenson's talking about using footballs in your Cold Spring car. Yep, I've seen that a few times. They don't last, though. The spring will wear them out, but they work. I got a knock at the door.
What's up, John Boy?
Oh, look at that. Captain Cope, how you doing?
We're doing good. How about you?
All right.
All right.
You got the headphones on? Is that the Mr. Haney shirt it looks like?
I think so.
Ha, look at that.
Yeah, the TV's on in the background and whatever. I thought it'd just be easier to put them on and I don't have to listen to anything else and get sidetracked.
So you're trying to do is get your fix of these folks before you go into hiding from them for a week, right?
Well, at 5 o'clock, I'm officially on vacation.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Cool.
Yeah, how you been?
I've been reasonably well. I got steel today because I got some floor joists I need to reinforce and fix, and there's no way that I can put wood on the side of these. There's a pipe that goes through them. So I got some 1/8-inch steel. I'm going to cut it out for the pipe. Then I'm going to put a strut across the top and weld it. And that will be perfectly fine.
How's the fence project coming along?
Fence is doing great. I wish I had a better picture of it. So I got all my fence posts in and I've been stretching the wire. I'm still not done, but I'm working on bringing the wire down the sections. It goes downhill, so I got to work with it a little bit. So I'm digging it down, but it's going to turn out really nice.
Oh, great.
Yep. Just chipping away pieces at a time. It's just me. There's no crew. So,
baby steps.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll get the fence. Just,
Mm-hmm.
Bad Tree's saying, how was the lake? Score any hot dogs?
I didn't hit the lake yet. Me and my wife might go on the lake tomorrow night to watch fireworks. But then me and my daughter are going to spend 5 days at the cottage. So I have not hit the lake just yet. But the boat's on the back of the truck. It's clean. It's fueled up. It's ready to go.
Outstanding.
So.
Well, I have no plans at all. I have no idea what I'm doing. I know one thing. I need to work some more on the fence. And I was looking for a picture of the fence. I need to work some more on the fence, and I really need to work some more in the shop. Here we go. So here's an action picture, sort of. So there's the mesh going on. I'll make this full screen.
Will that be powder coated like the poles were?
Yeah, so this, let's see if it'll do it. It's already vinyl coated. It's not powder coated. It's a vinyl coating.
Vinyl coated.
And the top rails are, and in the last couple of years or whatever, the prices on this fencing material have skyrocketed. And if I wasn't matching the other side of the property, there's no way I would have done it in black. It literally cost twice as much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fence in the back that's all janky looking and bent up, that's the neighbor's fence back there. And that old lady that's back there, I'm going to ask her nicely and say, hey, at my expense, would you like for me to fix your fence and fix the bent stuff and all, make it nice again? And I'll be glad to do that.
At your expense?
Sure, it doesn't need much.
Okay.
It doesn't need much. I'm glad to do it. I mean, she can't do it, but I'm glad to do it. It's just I'll put a top rail on it, and it's got some bands and some hardware it needs. But shoot, I bet you for no more than $20-$30 in material, I can make that one nice again.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, so I've got if you notice, there's ratchet straps on there. That's how I tension the wire. That's how I tension the mesh. So I put them on the bar, I draw them over, and that's how I get the tension. And then I use the top band to set the depth on it. Then I wire tie them to the top rail. And if you look at the back, you can see that one is done. And I mean, it's really nice and tight. And then that one is being done. So.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Looks real good.
Hey, Randall's saying, serious, I might need the link again to register. NoNameNationals.com. Goes right there, Randall. Let's see here. What I miss? Anything?
Did you see that I put a small little picture on my community tab, John, that I was going on vacation?
No, I did not. You want me to bring them up and show them?
No, but there's a little joke going on in there. Mopar Joe goes, "Okay, good. I'll call you when you're out in the lake and ask you technical questions."
Yeah.
And then Unfinished Project replied and said, "Well, your bounty just went up." I thought that was quite clever. It was pretty funny.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wasted Talent Fabrications. How's it going? Ron English. It's not epoxy. It's actually vinyl. You can see where it's kind of dinged up a little bit. No, it really is vinyl. How they do it. I guess it's done hot, some kind of hot process, but it's very durable. I still got to do a gate. I cannot get the gate I want. All the drive-in gates that they make in 4-foot high black gates that match, they're all 10 foot, and that's okay. But because I've got an angle that turns where this gate is, I want to do a 16-foot gate. So I'm going to make 2 panels, 48 high, and then 8 feet wide. And I think that'll turn out really nice. And then I'll just open up one of them most of the time. But I'll have a full 16-foot double gate if I do it that way. So I'll do a tubing notcher like you do on chassis work, notch the ends, then I'll put them flat on the concrete and weld them up and paint it. And I've already figured that I'll probably save about $100 on a bigger gate than buying one. But I got to finish running my wire, and then it's time to do that. Blown Budget's asking how the hotel motel situation is. Dude, I don't know. Everybody had a place to stay last year except Scott. And he was crashing with Stephen Oates and family. But, I mean, if you're going to stay there, stay at the Drury, stay at the Best Western, stay at the Pear Tree. The most of the reports I got say avoid the Super 8. And you want to look in Sikeston and or Minor, Miner, Minor, Missouri. Sikeston, Minor, either one. It's the same little metro area. Or you can camp at the track. About half the people or more camp at the track anyway.
That's where all the fun's going to be.
Yeah, man. There are a lot of people who had a hotel last year and said, I'm not doing it this year because it was so much fun at the track. In fact, Brian he paid for a motel room and wound up sleeping at the track one night anyway. He was having too much fun. Yeah, Jay's saying camping was perfect. You camped at the track, Coach.
I did. It was the best time. I mean, it's fun during the day and doing all the events and everything. But after hours, it was me, Chris, and the guy who's on after you.
Oh, Tony, Hot Rod Garage?
Me and Tony sat at the fire for hours just BSing about cars and stuff. Yeah. And it was really enjoyable, and we just hung around and, and cooked. I don't even know what I what I had out that night, marshmallows or something.
You were making beef sandwiches. You were cooking out there
We had
earlier.
beefs, we had tacos, we had gyros. I tried to bring Chicago food,
Yeah.
no hot dogs, but
Randall's saying I like air conditioning too much. This is the end of September. The weather was actually really nice.
it was. Even during the day, it was nice.
Oh yeah. I don't think it'll be a problem, but we all have our tastes. Danny Boyd says I'd rather have the C6 myself, but I'm not sure. I don't know what the question is, but C6 is never the answer. Not to me anyway. $82 days and a few hours away. Well, how's Mr. Haney doing? Is Mr. Haney going to make it, or are you going to switch it up, or what do you think?
Oh yeah. If I wasn't on vacation this week, we would have it running by Friday. Today, Lucas and I finished putting the motor together. We had to take the front timing cover off and take the top timing gear off. I bought one of those kits that eliminate the VVT,
right?
The variable valve timing thingy on there. Because my computer, it actually is faster if you got a computer that does it, but my computer will not coincide with that, so I had to eliminate that. So we just put the front end cover back on, put the oil pan on, put the intake on, and it, when we get back off of vacation, because he's also, the whole shop's off, and we just got to drop it in. And a lot of people may not know, I decided to take the blower and put it on the Hemi that's going in the Coronet and leave Haney the way it was for last year. So it'll still run 1150s in the quarter. It'll still be very streetable. But to make that truck run like 1050s or 1020s, there were some limitations with not having a cage and a secure way to put the seatbelts in and whatnot. So I just decided, I haven't drove that Coronet since 2004. Let's get both of the vehicles going.
Yep.
So that's the plan.
I tell you, that's got to be squirrely driving that truck that fast too.
You know what? I could drive that truck with one hand. With that Crown Vic front end on it and the ladder bars and whatnot, that truck really drove nice.
I've driven it. I mean, and I got to say, it is without a doubt the nicest handling 66 Ford I've ever driven. There's no doubt about that. It just seems weird to drive a long wheelbase truck from the 60s that fast. But maybe not. It handles good.
Actually, the longer wheelbase is better than a shorter wheelbase for stability. Andy got in it, and he ran the same exact DT that I did. Two different drivers, and he was never even in the car before.
You guys were, I think, within 1/100th of each other.
Yeah. So, it'll be going in 2 weeks. So we're on vacation for a week, and then the shop's closed, and then when we get back, we're gonna stuff it in there.
I'm not giving a plug or anything, but you ever driven one of those valve bodies? It's addictive. It is really nice. It's like really, really crisp.
Yeah.
If you had a video game valve body, it would be that.
We just did number 600, John. I don't know if I told you that or not.
You did? Yep. 600. And tell them who has number 611.
I don't know. Some guy in the South that drinks Dr. Pepper, and he's got a crazy dog that goes nuts around motorcycles.
Yeah. Be looking for that one. That's coming up sometime. 611. And it'll be a 4-speed. So you guys can wonder when I'm putting that in.
A 4-speed with lockup.
Yes.
So.
All the good stuff.
And we even got a good core set off to the side for you.
Yeah. I'll show them the core. And I can get to it quickly because it's actually saved in my favorite pictures. Believe it or not, it's actually saved in my favorites. Ooh.
Oh, wow. You should have shown the one where this is my car, this is my transmission.
Yes.
There is no other one like it.
Yeah. What did I do with that? I don't think I ever. Who would I have sent that to?
To Two Hats.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've sent that to a few people.
Is Jeff painting his car?
He's painting, I think, the trunk lid
Oh,
or something.
I thought I saw that where it's time to paint it. I'm like, is he going to do that right before the no name like that?
He's not going to paint the whole car. He is working on painting, I think, the valance and maybe the trunk lid.
Okay.
So Rapid Transit J ended up finding a forward pattern shifter plate for early Mopar shifters because he knows how much you like forward pattern.
What, the Shift R Gate one?
Yeah, what'd you find there, Jay? A forward pattern shifter plate for early Mopar shifters. But aren't all the factory ones forward pattern anyway?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
What I think he's talking about, there is a plate that I can't find, otherwise I'd put it in production, that took the 66 to 70 button shifter, for like B-bodies and whatever,
right,
and made the action on it a slapstick.
Right.
So you'd move it up, it would click. You move it up, it would click. It would operate just like a slapstick. That's the one he has. That's a hard piece to get.
I'm not going to tell these people what shifter I'm going to run with this A500. I don't want to tell them yet. I think they'll enjoy it. What in the world did I do with that? Because I sent that to a few people. I could have put it on my community tab, but I opted not to. And for whatever reason, I can't find it now, so who knows. But Twisted Mopar Garage says, I got to get to 500. Yes, you do. Just do it. Dude, you're right there. You saw how much you can get out of a video. If you go to the track, here's the thing. When you go to the track, go early. And before eliminations and all that stuff, just shoot shorts at the starting line of other people at the track. Get the burnout, get the launch, and just make little shorts like that and put the make, model, year of the car and put it in the title and do some of that. I'm telling you, that's worth 100 subs in a day. Just like that, Dennis.
Yep.
And you're there. You're already there at the track. Show off some of the other stuff, your friends' cars. Put little shorts of them up. Tag them on it, whatever. Ed's Machine in the house. Yeah, I should show Ed that. Ed, if you saw the thumbnail for this video, I should tear that 727 down and see if you can machine that case out to work. I am curious what it did in there.
Is that the one from Dust Double?
Yes, that's the one. So he was asking if there's anything you could do with it.
He asked me if I wanted it, and it would make a cool conversation piece. I would probably just set it out on the gas pump at the shop and let everybody look at it on the way in.
Impossible project, John. Ed, come on, man. You know it's possible. A world-class machinist and enough TIG welding or Heliarc or something. You could This was the thing that you had sent me today I thought was really interesting. This was a couple of interesting things you sent me. One, if you're going to have this set up, you better have all billet drums.
Man, I saw that. I was like, no way.
That is scary. That is really scary.
That was in a 40 Willys.
Ooh. That's a guy that doesn't know what happens when a sprag breaks.
Right.
Now, I've got to know, you sent me this. What in the world is that? I'm going to solo layout so they can see this because I don't know what the deal with this.
It's a 46 RE that somehow just cracked the bell housing. I'm not sure even how that happened. A friend of mine, sent that to me and said, "Hey, how does this happen?" And I said, "Gee, I couldn't tell you. You jacked up the transmission with the floor jack? I don't know how that happened."
Wow. Look at that.
At first, I thought maybe someone cut it with a torch because it looks awful crude. But you got me how that was. I thought it was a cool picture, so I kept it.
I don't know. It's was it running like that?
I don't know.
Someone somewhere will take that to like Bumble Skull's Auto Repair and just try to weld it back with it right there in the vehicle and call it good.
You ever see that picture of the Turbo 400 that someone had a cracked bell and they put these Frankenstein bolts and plates and a whole bunch of JB weld on there?
No, I haven't seen that.
When I get off tonight, I'll send it to you. You'll see it.
Danny Boyd is saying that's a commonplace for rear-wheel drive automatics to crack, isn't it? I have never seen that before.
Yeah, it is for GMs because they only have half a bell housing.
That's right. They do.
Chrysler and Ford have a complete and total bell housing, and it's nowhere near as an issue as it is with GM.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And that's why they make those Ultra cases and all that, because their cases were weak from the get-go.
GM
and they're like,
well, what's that weird thing they did? So the GM bell housing, so it's half a bell housing, and then it comes up to a point, but there's no bolt up there. So you got the two bolts here, and then like the BOP stuff, they rounded it out. I never did understand their bell housing shape at all. It never made sense.
What was the first year for the small block Chevy? 54, 55?
Something like that.
Let's just say 55. From 55 to 60, there was a bolt at the top of there.
Okay.
So it had 3 bolts on the one side, 3 bolts on the other, and 1 right in the middle.
So it devolved away from that.
It did.
Now, this is interesting. I knew our chat. We have a very smart chat here. Thumper says the Chevy does that. The LS has a bolt at the top.
Oh, it does.
Ed's Machine says 55. Danny Boyd says 55. World of Woodchip says 55. All you people with Chevrolet smarts, see, check all that out.
Yep.
First Responder Garage says snow plowing is a good way to do that. Okay, fair enough. Snow plowing is a good way to break all kinds of things that have never been broken before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some broken transmissions, but that's an uncommon place. I remember the first time when I was a kid that I saw one that broke a sprag, did not have a billet drum, and it was in a very fast yellow Roadrunner at Bristol Dragway. And a car like that, of that caliber, running a 496-inch engine, as quick as that car was, it ran in the 8s. That car absolutely should have had a billet drum, but this was in the 90s. And I just remember going in the pits and seeing a transmission that looked like it had a bomb put in it. And I didn't know at the time what caused that. And I later found out that it spun a sprag, spun the drum up to a high RPM, the drum exploded. But I didn't know at the time. I'm just like, wow, how is it possible to break a transmission that bad?
Yeah. In the early 90s is when the aluminum drums came out. I don't think the steel drums came out till the early 2000s.
Okay.
So
this was at Old Bristol, and Old Bristol got bulldozed about 96 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it was before that. Beautiful car, though. Just, I didn't even think at the time. I'm like, dude, do you still have a foot? He was lucky.
Yeah, it could be very dangerous.
Yeah. So speaking of that, have you seen the YouTube channel Neutral Drop? The guys who like to, there's a channel dedicated to guys that like to do neutral drops and just destroying these cars on their way to the junkyard.
I have not. I'll have to check that out.
They're from New York, and you don't have to ask. You know, as soon as you start watching, they're New York City guys. They're brothers. And the whole channel is about neutral dropping and destroying cars on the way to the junkyard. And it's very entertaining. I mean, it's highly entertaining. But I would worry about that with those guys.
I'll never forget one time. I was probably in my early 20s or so, and I was working at a transmission shop in Chicago that was close to Midway Airport on Western Avenue. And we always had to pull in like 10, 15 cars at the end of the day into the shop. So the customers would come and steal their cars and not pay the bill. And I got stuck getting this Olds Cutlass every time, and it was really cold out, and we would start it up, move it outside. Well, after a while, the plugs were getting fouled. So my store manager is standing there with his finger on the button, opening the door, and I couldn't get this car to clear out. So I put it to the wood, and I neutral dropped the thing, and I blew the spider gears clear out of the rear end. He was so disgusted at me. I did it right in front of my boss. Oh my, I'll never forget that.
So now Lucas knows how much he could get away with and not get fired, right?
I don't know about that.
He knows better. Yes, they're talking about it now. There's a Durango on YouTube doing drive to reverse and reverse to drive a few times. And Danny Boyd says the black Nissan pickup with the rusty frame, and they tacoed it. Yeah, it's a channel just about all kind of crazy debauchery.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just wouldn't want anybody to get hurt breaking a transmission.
You know what I always wanted to do was find like an old car that was just not restorable, that was nothing but parts that ran, and then I was going to pull the transmission out and take their sprag out, put it back in the car, and then cut the floor out and get maybe a high-speed camera or two and explode the transmission in the car.
Why don't we blow one up and film it?
That's what I just said, John.
Yeah, but I mean, but why don't we set that up sometime? Come up to your shop and we'll make it safe. Like we'll have a safe way to do it. Like,
yeah, we'll do it out in the cornfield.
Yeah, but we'll do it safely and film it. And I think it'd be cool to show people what happens. But let's do it organically. Like let's have a string to the shifter so we can tip it in and do neutral drops safely.
No, what I would do is I would take the trans out and just remove the spring and rollers. So it gives it the same effect of not having a sprag or having a broken sprag. But I want to do it with a small motor, like a 318 two-barrel or a slant 6, to prove a point.
You won't prove the point if you tamper with the sprag. Everybody will say, well, it only did it because he tampered with the sprag. You got to break it to prove to them how it happens.
Tampered, break, what's the difference?
Because they will all say, well, it only did it because he did it. I've done it 743,000 times and it never did it. So if you break it organically,
I don't know. We might be able to do that.
Oh, I'm sure you could. It'll happen.
We'll have to see.
The last 5 neutral drops I've watched on YouTube, one of them worked. I don't think it would take us that many times.
I'd have to check out how we can get a high-speed camera too.
That's easy. You got ultra slow motion, 120 frame a second on the iPhone.
Oh, all right.
I filmed machine shop. I actually filmed at a machine shop one time a few years ago, and you could just watch the fly cutter come around, swipe, 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 taking chips off. It'd be perfect.
Well, good. Then we'll put your camera in the car.
Yeah, as long as it's got a black fuse, I'll do it. I'll take the chance. I would probably take a shield and then just drill the hole big enough for the camera and go with it. Yeah.
I've seen so many explosions. If you put that camera right, let's say over the transmount, but on top of where the transmount is, and put it right on the bell housing, I bet you it wouldn't even get a drop of oil on it. And I bet lunch on that.
Yeah, do it.
Because everything goes to the gas pedal. All the damage, everything always goes to the driver. It never goes to the passenger side.
Because the way it's turning.
Yeah, but the drum's spinning the opposite direction in first gear. So.
Wasn't it the passenger side of that Barracuda that went through the
door?
Yeah.
Yes. And I've seen them go through the cowl before.
Your car went through the cowl.
All the time it's from the cowl and to the driver's side. Actually, what I think what happens is the drum is supposed to be spinning counterclockwise, but once the sprag breaks, it goes into a counter wise direction, I believe. I'm not sure, but I have to figure that out one day. But if I had an extra car with it had to be a small block 727, and I would hope it'd be a 318 two barrel. So, and my point of doing it with a small motor is to let people know that you don't have to have a 500-inch, 600 horsepower motor to break a sprag, or to have the transmission explode.
I think it'd be really cool to get that on video like that. And I say, don't even touch the sprag, because just show people you can have a normal, healthy sprag, and it absolutely can still happen.
Well, everybody knows a sprag can break.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I would just make it quicker, because if you had a transmission together with no sprag, it'd be one pull on the throttle and it's exploded.
Yep.
There wouldn't be no screwing around. It's gonna pop.
They're trying to find you one. Patrick is saying, let's do it with a big block and 727. I don't think you have to at all.
I don't want to waste a big block case. I'd rather waste a small block case.
I know where there's one that'll never run again that I saw this afternoon when I was picking up my scrap metal.
No, that would be a cool video that would get a shitload of clicks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. We should stage that. We gotta make that happen.
Maybe we could do it after the burnout contest at No Name. Sell tickets.
No. We just talked about the insurance for that event yesterday. Don't do that.
Oh, we won't say nothing about it for that.
Actually, tell you the truth, it might happen on its own at No Name Nationals. I mean,
you never know.
You never know. That could actually organically happen there. I don't want it to. I really don't. Please don't get any ideas in the comments. That is not the kind of thing you want to do. You can lose a foot or worse. You don't want to do that. But you never know. We had surprisingly little breakage at that event.
Yeah.
I think the worst breakage, of course, was Steven throwing that connecting rod. Perpetual Projects and Square Body with the drive shafts, and of course Jed snapping a tail shaft in two. But the carnage wasn't that bad there. First responders thinking with no sprag, the drum will exit differently. I'm just thinking that you should leave the sprag alone because it's already so vulnerable. Leave it just to show people you don't have to tamper with it to get it to do that, because it will do it.
Well, the whole point of the video would be exploding a transmission with a stock motor.
Right.
If the sprag is broken or left out of the transmission, the end result is still going to be the same.
So Junkyard D is saying that the old video you have of the trans explosion is eye-opening. Yeah, it is. The one in the lathe where you were turning the guts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting stuff. Makes you think. Now, I went with a cast drum in mine, but it's a 904. And it's got 11 bolts that hold the sprag in, and I'm going to be running a blanket style shield.
And the drum is so much closer to the center line of the transmission.
Right.
It doesn't have that. You know what else would be a big explosion is the C6 transmission, because it's got that big drum.
Yep.
You know, so.
This is true.
But I can't think of my whole career in transmissions. I've never heard of, nor have I ever seen a 904 explode.
I don't want mine to be first, but I'm going to prepare for it the best I can if it ever does.
Yeah, well, you got 25 bolts hold the sprag in, and you got a valve body with low band apply.
Yeah,
you're not going to break a sprag.
The 904 beginning in 87, I want to say, they beefed up the sprag on those things twice. They went from like a 2-pin to a 4-pin. No, 3 times. They went from a 2-pin to a 4-pin to like a 5 or 6 bolt. And then the one I have was a 90 model. It actually has 11 bolts.
Yeah.
So 6 of them go through the tail shaft, the support, right? The output shaft support. And the others just go through the sprag itself. But there's 11 bolts that go through that thing into the case. It's a very, very strong setup.
Yeah.
Really overkill. So Patrick here is saying I'll be putting a billet drum in mine this fall with 6 clutches. 1,000 horsepower ready then, if you say so. But Patrick, if it holds, I want it to, because we have very similar transmissions. Dennis says he's never lost a sprag in a 727. Good. Twisted Mopar, do you start your burnout in second gear, or do you start it in first and shift up?
I've always told all my customers to start in second and then shift into third. And the reason why is if you're not in first, you can't break the sprag.
Yeah.
So it's just a little extra safety precaution. When I was at the last streetcar brawl at my local track, I saw a lot of these guys starting the burnout with the trans brake. They would get on the brake, they let go of the button in the water box, and then shift 1, 2, 3 really fast. And I thought, wow, and a lot of guys were doing that.
Not me.
I don't know why.
I've never even heard of that. That's wild.
Well, they weren't doing water burnouts. They were doing glue burnouts.
Yeah.
So they had that. They would pour puddles of that compound, and it's already sticky. And I think the reason they would roll forward, get on the brake, let go of the brake, just to get the tires spinning quicker, because it's not a water burnout.
Right. They're having to, but that's a lot of shock too.
It is. They're using that stripper glitter or whatever the hell they call it.
Man, not me. I'm just not into that kind of thing. But it's interesting to watch.
When I saw that, I put a second gear leave in Haney's trans. So I thought, well, you know what? I can do that in second gear with my brake. So I was going to try and see how it acted.
Sure.
You know.
Thumper says stripper glitter sticks to everything.
Yeah.
Depends which formula you're using, Thumper. Tony's Hot Rod Garage is doing drywalling. Good for you, man. If you want to take a road trip, I got some drywall you can do right now. Hey, Captain Do here says Torque Flight always been made for racing to females, while men always enjoys manual trans. Okay.
Someone told me sticks are for popsicles.
Tony's like, no, you know, come on, Tony. You know you would enjoy doing some drywall in West Virginia.
Where's he at in Arizona?
Yeah, he's in Arizona. So Patrick is saying, I need that second gear leave too. Lots of upgrades this fall. Well, break it, man.
No, don't break it.
Break it when Cope's not around to have to fix it.
I tell you what, you take out Mopar Joe, I'll give you the second gear leave for free.
Ooh. Oh, man.
You take out the pretty boy, we'll tighten you up.
All right. I've got the timestamp on that. Joe will want that clip.
Yeah, right.
Yep, Thumper's saying torque multiplication is real. Automatics are faster. Thumper, there's people that don't even believe that the round earth is real. I mean, it's amazing what some people don't want to believe. Junkyard D, I see you moving in subs. You're about a third of the way there. You can do it, man. I'm telling you, the first third's a whole lot harder to get than the last 2/3. You can definitely still do it. But you got to turn it up, man. Yeah, I got exciting stuff planned if I can get this house thing closed up here shortly. I really want to do some fun automotive stuff over the winter. I've got heat in the garage for the last couple of years. Didn't need it this past year, but year before that I sure did. Captain Do, what is this theory? This is good. Automatic is for women and manual is for men. It like women always start in D section and men always start in first section on the transmission. What in the world are you talking about? Do you know that not 2% of the American population can drive a manual transmission now? That's what we're down to now. 2%. I bet you the percentage is much higher here in this live tonight. It's probably, if it's not 100, it's probably really close. But the general population of America, 2% can drive a manual. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
Because I remember it was 8% a few years ago, and I thought that was really low. And then I listened, I wonder what that is now, and I looked up, and it's 2.
Well, you know those stick shift drivers have their own pronouns.
My pronoun is 833.
Like missed shift, or they missed, or he broke it.
Maybe.
You know, if I put Mr. 4-Speed on the back of Mr. Haney, it would be telling the truth, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, it would. It would.
And people are like, that's got an automatic in it. Yeah, it's 4-speed automatic.
It's a good idea. Danny Boyd says 3 of my 4 vehicles are manual. Yeah. 2 5-speeds and 1 3-speed. All right, right on.
All of mine but 1 are manual.
I've converted 2 automatics to manual, and you converted the manual in your truck to automatic. That would really freak some people out.
Yeah, but it's a manual.
Right, but your white Dodge had a what was it? Was it a 5-speed, like a
6?
Okay, and you took the manual 6-speed out, and you put in a 48 RE,
which is manual.
Right. Right, with a full manual valve body.
Yep. It's a manual 4-speed.
Right. Clutchless, because he lives life on the edge.
Right.
And if you're wondering, but you don't drive that every day. Oh, yeah. We drove that thing around in downtown Chicago, drifting around the corner at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took that thing down to Lower Wecker Drive.
Yes.
Cheeseburger,
yes.
cheeseburger.
Thumper's saying my 455s broke all my manual transmissions. Well, they're GM manuals. That's even worse. Now, Dean is saying park, neutral, reverse, drive, 1-2. What? His C3 Cortina is a 5-speed. That's all messed up. Don't worry about the YouTube analytics, Junkyard D. Worry about getting the content out there. Just keep making content. Keep giving it more opportunity to say, hey, Junkyard D is out here. You want to check out his stuff. Neutral isn't a gear. No, it is not. Thumper has a new TKX for the 65 GTO. I like manual transmissions. I have a vehicle I want to put a manual in. It will be my third swap from automatic to manual. Ron English knew a girl that floated the valves or something in a car before she pulled away from the curb. Engine blew up 600 miles later. Yikes. And park is not a gear. No, it is not. But if you have reverse, why is that not a speed? How about that?
Neutral is not a gear like 0 is not a number, right?
There you go. Junkyard D, I will check that out after this. Captain Do wanted to convert my 89 Dakota into an overdrive 4-speed manual. So I like manual, shift the A500 on it and missing a clutch pedal. Captain Do, just send me the A500. After that, it doesn't matter what you do. But I'd be interested in your A500 out of that. In my opinion, you're taking out a far better transmission than what you want to put in it. I think an A500 from an 89 Dakota 42 RH is that's really hard to beat. I think it's better than any manual they ever put in those trucks. Danny Boyd is saying reverse is an anti-speed compared to the forward gears. It's not anti-speed. It's 2.21 ratio. It's a speed, right? Is it negative speed? Danny Boyd is saying nothing worse than a column shift with bucket seats. What do you think about that, sir?
My 71 Sport Fury had a column shift and reverse manual, and I used to pull a button out of the ashtray for the nitrous.
I like that. Mexican Spec says the push button in his 63 Furies won him a few races. Neat. Post some video. I think Furies are cool. I like push buttons too. And Thumper says the push button is not the knob on the new cars. No, it is not. So how are you getting used to that rotary dial gear selector on your Mr. CRT truck?
I hate it. Because it never fails. I will change the heater or turn the radio up or down before I grab that shifter knob. I don't like it. I am kind of getting used to it, but
you should put in 2 of your shifters and one of them backwards so you can do like a big rig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, right.
That would be really wild.
That thing has a little button, which is like its own little auto stick, where you can manually shift it on the steering wheel, like a shift paddle, but you can only use your thumb to do it. It's a
Well,
little
now,
generic.
no, it's an 8-speed automatic, but does it have does it have a regular manual valve with an 8-position valve body, or
No,
no? I didn't figure it. You could,
it's only got park, reverse, neutral, and B.
no, but
So
I
there's
mean the manual valve and the transmission itself. It's not like an 8-position.
I don't think there is a manual valve.
Really?
Yeah, it's all done by solenoids.
Oh man.
Now I can't be 100% sure because I've never been in one of those, but I do not think it has a manual valve.
Wow. So it's all just independently.
There's a solenoid for every gear. They're all lined up.
So that one, you could never convert that into a hydraulic setup at all.
I don't think so.
Well, maybe you could. Maybe if it uses individual valves on solenoids, it would look like a Lenco because you'd have a shifter for each of those little tiny valves.
Yeah, you can do it electronically very easily.
Yeah.
You know, but not mechanical. I don't think you can do that mechanical. It would be cool if you did, because then all the Fast and Furious movies would use that car because you're always shifting.
That's right. That's all you'd be doing is shifting. You pull out of the drive-through and go up to the street, and you're already pulled 3 levers.
Yeah.
Just to get to the end of the parking lot.
Exactly.
Do you feel that truck shifting a lot? Do you feel that? Or
yeah, it drives me nuts. You ever been in an old Dodge truck that you got in low ratio 4-wheel drive?
Oh yeah.
And then you get on it, you're like, bah, bah, bah,
Oh, yeah.
it shifts. That's how this truck is all the time. Because first gear is a 350 something or 380 something ratio.
It's 525.
Is it that much?
Yeah, it is. Because remember, we looked it up right after you got it. They have one that's like a 350 something, and then in 2020 they went to a 525 first gear.
Yeah, it's crazy. So could you imagine that first gear and actually putting a transfer case in a low gear?
No, that just seems nuts.
Then it would be like 525 times 2 something. It would be like the gear ratio would be like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Point something in first gear.
Well, how much rear end gear is in it?
355.
355. Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh. That's crazy. Climb
Yeah.
a tree with that. I tell you what, though, I bet it helps when you're pulling a big, heavy trailer.
It does, and the only thing I've ever pulled, no, I did have a car on the back of my trailer. I don't remember what vehicle I went and got. But, I mean, pulling a boat around, it's nothing. You know, it doesn't even know it's back there. For a 150 truck, it does pretty good.
That's pretty wild. I really want to tow with my van. No, Wendy, I have not pulled my Cope will come back hopefully. No, Wendy, I've not got them up yet. They're right here. The one-eyed cat sticker. I got to take my case down to do it. And I didn't because you guys were already showing these things, show and tell. So I'm like, okay, that's all right. But I will put them in my case.
I don't know what happened there.
Things happen. This is Don English, the one-eyed cat's new logo sticker right here.
Like it.
Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
Yeah.
What is the reasoning behind that? The one-eyed cat.
Oh, you don't want to know.
Oh, okay. It's got to mean something. I'll ask him at No Name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Patrick wants to know if your red truck is a Hemi.
It is.
Captain Deuces, my A500 wouldn't get no light speed since I had the truck in 2011, first drive in 2013, transfix 2014, 17, stopped till I went to a trans store, got a chart, overdrive, piston. I'm not. Let me tell you, if you want rid of that 500, Captain Dew, I'm all for it. Dean Stevenson says the 10-speed ratio is 0.63 down to 4-ish in first.
No way.
That's a lot of gear.
John, did you see the two Ford valve body videos I put up the other day?
Yes, I did.
I got the bore done and the first manual valve made. So when I get back, all I really need to do is connect all the passages to the manual valve, and then make a separator plate and then put it in the truck.
And you got the test truck.
Yeah. That truck is from it was a Maryland government truck. It only has 60,000 miles on it.
So the question is, if you had a crystal ball, when do you think you'll have a working valve body for Casper?
Next year. But okay. My goal is to at least test drive the prototype valve body that I'm making before the snow flies. I know I've given myself an extra amount of time, but there's only 83 days until summer's over. So it's going to be here before you know it.
Over?
Yeah. That's what that yellow piece of paper means to me. That is not when No Name Nationals is. That is when your summer's over, Cope.
You want me to give you a free day?
No.
Yeah, so the One-Eyed Cat's going to have custom cookies made for No Name Nationals. They make custom cookies, custom stickers, custom cookies, custom cards. By the way, so I was talking with, so I've been having some meetings pursuant to the No Name Nationals because we got to do all the, all the administrative and logistical stuff and all that. And I was talking with the track manager about it. He says, Jeffers really liked our event. His comment the last time I talked to him was at PRI, and he's like, "Oh yeah, man, we definitely want you guys back and all that." But I didn't really know what he thought of the event itself. What I heard in the fallout of it is that he enjoyed it. He liked it. It was different. It was a good show. So
it was a great time. It really was. I went there with the hope of having a good time, but I was like, it's going to be a dud. It was not a dud. Every day there was something new that I never did before that made it excellent.
Where else can you see Cope driving off the track and Mr. Haney with Andy Wood in Mr. Haney's wheelchair? I mean, that's just the kind of stuff we do. Now, are you planning on bringing Haney?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not the Power Wagon?
No, because the Power Wagon, I don't have seatbelts in it, and I'm going to bring Haney. I mean, I love the Power Wagon. I drive it every freaking day. I love that truck. Man, I'm in love with that truck. But I got to bring something fast.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I'm going to bring Haney.
So I got something I'm working on. I can't talk about it yet, but I can probably talk. I'm hoping to be able to talk about it with 60 days to go. It's a surprise. I think everybody's going to like.
Excellent.
But I can't talk about it yet. There are 4 people who know, and only 4, and on a need-to-know basis. And I'm hoping I can announce that at 60 days to go. It will be fun. Oh, 38. That's something that we're talking. So I'm supposed to be having we're YouTubers. We don't use Zoom call. Zoom call is what people who are not savvy enough to use StreamYard use. Zoom sucks. So we're going to have a StreamYard meeting. It will not be broadcast to YouTube, but we're going to be working those things out because we have to make sure that we can facilitate that. Okay. So just let me ask, and I will have answers soon. This week, I'm working on the hard answers to those things.
I didn't know you can use StreamYard as a Zooming thingy.
Sure can. You just don't broadcast it to YouTube if you don't want it to be public.
Ah.
Yeah.
I got you.
I've had many meetings with lots of people that way, and it works better. StreamYard is way better on everything than Zoom. Zoom is like an evolutionary step, and then StreamYard's like, okay, let's fix all these problems and make it work right. And that's StreamYard
Right.
for everything. I have professional meetings with StreamYard. People are like, oh, man, this works so much better than Zoom. I'm like, yeah, it sure does. That's why I use it.
Yeah.
Zoom is clunky. This is seamless. This is made for what we're doing with it. It just works so much better. Dean Stevenson, are you still planning to come in for Sykeston? I know that's a long, 8,000 miles for you, but if you are, we'll help you. We'll help you on the ground on this end.
8,000 miles. Where's he from?
He's to the other side of the world.
Australia?
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Just as far.
Yep, same thing. Once you get on the other side of the ocean, that's that.
Yep.
Guys, we got just a few more minutes. Time has flown tonight. Normally, I see when we sneak up on the time tonight, I haven't even noticed. So we got a few more minutes. I know Tony said that he would be a few minutes getting late set up. So if you have any questions, anything for John Cope, this is your chance. You got him cornered, because once he flees from here, you won't be able to bother him for a week. Thanks for joining us, Ed. I appreciate it. Oh, man, Dean can't make it because his brother is sick. He's coming from New Zealand. Yeah, man, well, if something works out for you, you know you can holler at us, and we'll help you on this end because we know you're not driving in. Dean would be the long hauler. Yes, he would. The first guy registered this year was Canadian. So anybody have anything else, or we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thumper's asking, can John build me a 4L60E that can handle 600 foot-pounds?
I don't build transmissions anymore.
Yeah.
It could be done. Definitely could be done.
Patrick's saying he'll call you on Monday the 10th. Wendy is asking if you sat with them at the restaurant. Who did you sit with at Lambert's?
Patrick and his wife.
Patrick, okay. Yeah. Cave Dave is saying, I have a 65 Plymouth with a 727. What mods can I do to that transmission?
They're unlimited. There's nothing different from mods on that than a 71 and later. You can put velodrums in it, valve bodies, servos, D-pans, whatever you want.
Cave Dave, if you're just asking what should you do to yours, if you're going to do anything to it, probably a shift kit would be a good idea. Sprag delete mod, no. Dean says Anthony is doing chemo. I presume that means your brother. Well, man, take good care of him and work through it. And hopefully he's got good health going forward. He can do it. Yeah, Cave Dave, if you're looking for something specific, just holler at me. I'm going to be working on a 727 for the One-Eyed Cats 62 Plymouth here pretty soon. It's on my short list.
Is he near you?
I don't know where Cave Dave is. I in Tennessee. Is that where you are, Cave Dave? Colleen is out. Have a fun, safe weekend. Agreed. Captain Ducey and his A500 got fully repaired in 2018 and still make no power after I spent $800 worth of hard performance on the truck. I have no idea, man.
Sounds like a clogged catalytic converter to me.
Who knows? I know one thing. There's going to be some really cool A500 content coming out soon. Going to be some good stuff. It's going to be fun. And it's going to involve pizza and orange paper. So, and I got a surprise for Cope, too, next time I'm up there. He'll get to see it when you guys do. I predict you'll like it.
Cool.
Lucas might like it. You'll definitely like it. All right, guys. We'll wrap up. Y'all have a good weekend. Thanks for coming out and joining us. I'll be live again next Friday. Not sure who I've got. Got some more guests in the hopper. Like I said, you guys know I surprised you with Bondo Billy. And then the Williamson Road Car Show got Cope tonight. So you never know. I got some things floating around to pin down. And also, I'm saying here in a couple Fridays from now, we should have a big No Name Nationals update, because there's some things that I've been pinning down with some specific questions, working them out, and we should have a big update live here probably in a few weeks. And because now we're starting to hone in, man, we're approaching the target fast now. It's 82 days, 1 hour, and 54 minutes. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap up here. Tony's Hot Rod Garage goes live here in a few minutes. I'll see you guys over there. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, John Cope, for coming out.
Thanks for having me, John.
See you guys.
Good night, everyone.